Hey, what is up? We are live and we are here with, I guess week 17 isn't officially over yet, but uh, it's it's got a little bit left, and I'm not doing so good. I don't know about the rest of you. We'll go through the dailies. We'll go through the week 17 sweats. Uh, all of mine are not in a good spot. I needed uh, I needed James Cook or Josh Jacobs to do something, one of them for sure, most likely both, and they both were, like, pretty useless, especially Josh Jacobs. But while we're here, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start up background music real quick. I wasn't really prepared whenever I loaded this up today, and my computer is lagging right now, so it should be a good time. Alright, so we will go to my current best ball sweats. Um, my sprint team that had a chance to finish like around 100 or so kind of just absolutely fell apart this week. What's up, Scott? How we doing, Aaron? So the sprint team has Algier tonight. It's got Puka tonight. Uh, but I've only put up 96 points so far this week. RJ Harvey, not much. James Cook let me down. Higgins did okay, but then JSN did nothing. But I do have Puka and Drake London, and they do start at 1 and 4 points. So I could still put up like 140, 150. If I could get to 470 ish, I don't know where that would put me. But I do think that I will finish around there. Obviously, people will be moving up as well. Where is the sprint stuff? Was it this one? Yeah, it's this one. So at the moment, 470 would put me top 50. So with a lot of people, like, so if Puka and Drake have a gigantic game, I could possibly get to the 1,000 mark. And that would be like a 30 point and a 20 point game, right? Like I'm still 50-ish points away. So, because I had 420, 423. So most likely I might get like 500 back, uh, which would be about what I put in. So that would be fine if they both have decent games. Moving on to the flock contest, I'm almost in last in this one. This is the one that I liked. I don't know if Kittle will suit up in week 18. I assume he will for the division, because if they win, he gets another bye week, right? So we have it's not letting me alt tab. It's being very slow. So this team, it still has Bijan to go. I got to get to like 120 to even have a chance at anything, and I'm at 70 points. This team is super, super dead. T. Higgins did nothing. DJ Moore did not. He did less than 3 points. Coker nothing. I don't have anything left. Cooper Kupp dropped a touchdown. Josh Jacobs was absolutely worthless. Jaden Blue has stayed worthless the whole season. That was the one I liked of the two flocks, and it was horrendous. And then this one is also near the bottom. And this one, I was really, really thin at running back. Rico, Spears, and James Cook. I do have Stafford and Puka tonight, but the way this team was going to separate was going to be with Nico Collins. And when Nico didn't go off, it was pretty much over. So those two were pretty thin to do anything. The Poodle, though, I am in the top third at the moment with Puka and Stafford still to go, but I'm assuming most people will get Stafford to play and gain points on me because I have Drake May here. I do have, and I do have Tutu Atwell as well, but Puka starts at 3 points, and where's my? And then if Tutu does something, he starts over 9 points. So at most, I could get another, 21, 22 points here to get me to 140. Half of these team have Puka, I assume. So that would put me around winning 500 there. That would be it for the season. That's all I got. It's no season-long sweats. All of these fourth quarters as well, they're not doing great. Pepper Tony looks like he may ship a few things, actually. Like he's in position in a lot of things. Number one, that. And number two, he's in second and third right now here in the fourth quarter contest. I don't believe he has Puka on this team, and the first place team does not have Puka. So that team seems pretty well positioned. And then this team does not have Puka. He had nothing going here, but he needs 13 points to catch him going from 10 points. So he needs a 23 point game, 22.8 points or whatever to get first in this as well. I do think that hurts him in the Dalmatian though. So he's probably pretty well. I'm not able to look at the I guess I could go to BBMDB and look that up. The Little Dalmatian, I believe it was, right? The Little Dalmatian 2. Must have been the second one. Which one was it? Was he, did he fall a little bit? And let me know if you guys have a sweat that you would like me to look up. Or if somebody else in the community has one. Okay, he's here. And he has Corum and Algier and Kyle Pitts to go. Has to start over 13 points. So the end of that game last night probably doomed him a little bit. He's currently in second, rooting for a low score game. If Puka has a huge game, I think he would take it versus this, because that would put him in first in the other one. Yep. And then now back over here to my one decent team. Like, everything was sold out by James Cook. Travion in an awesome spot, and they gave all the touchdowns to Ramondre. That felt bad. If we swap those scores, this team is up there with a chance. But this team is also completely done. I have nothing else to go. So it's just going to fall in the ranks. This team has Corum starting at 8 points with no Puka. And then this team, I don't have any Puka left. I have nobody left in any of these. So these are just going to fall as well. So for the most part, it was bad. As you've seen on the thumbnail, it was Derrick Henry. You needed Derrick Henry to be near the top in your pod, most likely. You could come out of it if you had a combination of Chase Brown plus Ramondre or something. But yeah. Nice, nice. Little board too. Would you like me to look at it? Let me know. Need Stafford. Need Puka, Stafford, Mooney, and Witt to go off tonight to boost you in the puppy. Yeah, for me, I need Puka to have a really big game to get to a reasonable score. Like if we get a 30-point game from Puka, I do tear up a couple times in the poodle. All right, so DSC. Yeah, for whatever reason, my PC's been real. Like it started really laggy a little bit ago. It's like, and whenever I alt tab, it just completely falls apart. So we're looking at projected 192. And you're projected for 179. Yeah, that you could tear up for sure. Stafford, Puka, and Pitts. This feels good, and you're gonna tear him up pretty early. And Stafford has went above 19 points a lot this year. Remember when we were talking about how he doesn't have ceiling in pre-draft? That feels stupid, right? You nice should get high in the big board also. I wish I had an actual sweat for the big board. I had 4 teams alive last week, and they were all pretty like I had a good run out last week to get finals teams, so I can't be that upset about it. I did kind of want a big board team specifically, and that did not happen. So yeah, you're going to get a lot more points here as well. So you're a huge Puka fan today, for sure. Yeah, very nice, very nice. I hope whatever people need to get hits. We're gonna detour a little bit. If anybody else wants me to go over something, let me know. Until then, I'll go over some of the daily stuff. So my only real sweat on drafters. So we do have some drafter sweats in the community. Not me. I only did 3 mains. One of them is actually reasonably okay. Where is the bottom of the screen? Oh, just had to go over here. So Loot's here. And by the way, Charles here is also a friend of the channel. So congratulations to him. And then we have Lutz here, who spends a lot of time in the Discord as well. And I believe he's done. No player minutes remaining. So he's hoping for a very low scoring game here. 50 points away from first here with nobody to go for Charles. And he's got 10-point lead on Melvin and Herzig. So they're both rooting for no points tonight. And then I haven't looked to see where Quill is in this one. They fell to 9, but they had another couple. Sleaze, partner in crime, here 22 here as well. And then I believe that Quill had I think they said they had another one up here pretty high. 51 and 53. They still have Bijan Robinson going. And Bijan starts at 13.5 points. So to tier up, they need 5 or 6 points, which is worth $250. So what's up? How we doing, Hartman? Hey, thanks. Thank you for listening. I just enjoy doing it. And I've learned a lot this year doing the daily grind. I've learned a lot about how best ball works in ways that I wasn't playing it because I'd never really done the DFS side of it. So I will be sharing that throughout the off season as well. So we're going to go to history here. I had a pretty good day on drafters. Like, I do 11 of these. This is the best day I had on drafters for the season. I did 11 and I cashed 7 of my lineups. I was very, very heavy on Chase Brown, and I was pretty heavy on, and the only 2 tight ends I used was Trey McBride and Colston Loveland, I believe. And they were the 1 and 2 tight ends of the slate. So I ended up with a 10th place lineup here. It was Drake May, Brown, Saquon, who I didn't love, but I took here and there. And then Diggs, Burden, Kyle Williams, who absolutely sold this lineup out, right? Like, if that was anybody else, we could have had a really, really good, like, I guess that's better than Jalen Waddle, right? Waddle was a complete dud. Trey McBride and Swift. The puppy for Dak 488 Lamb. And by the way, for this contest that I'm looking at, this guy right here was number 1 in this contest until the night game. And there was a lot of points in that night game, and like half the contest passed him. There it is. But yeah, they didn't have anybody going. They had a bunch of really good picks here. They had Drake May, they had Ramondre, Pollard, JSN Olave, Hunter Henry. So no bad picks. A lot of really good picks. They just didn't have any Luther Burden or like any of the night game. No CMC, no Luther Burden, no Tonjes, no Brock Purdy. And like on drafters, you also get the night game. Obviously, a Brock Purdy lineup was going to be first. But yeah, I had a pretty good overall day. I did 11 lineups, won $100 or $98. I pretty much, that puts me even on the year on drafters, I believe, because I had a big win the first week. Or early on, I had a decent win. I don't know. Where was it? Oh, there we go. Week 1, I had 198. And then just a few min cashes here and there to kind of stabilize. And I deposited 2 weeks ago, and now I have a little bit in there. So I'm basically even on the season on the drafts there. So we want to look at the puppy for Dak here. I wanted to give them a shout out because it feels bad when you're in first and you just need to fade a game, and then that game goes absolutely off. Yeah, no Tonjes. I don't know if the Tonjes had any. Well, I remember I was like, I can't believe that I swapped all of my Kittle for Loveland, and I didn't think about swapping it for Tonjes because he had the first touchdown, but Loveland ended up having a really good game. So, all right, so projected for 159 points. Ooh, that could be fun. You got Puka to go. Corum needs to have a really good game to break that lineup. Your wide receivers kind of suck. Like, you tell me that you're going to have an awesome lineup with Waddle at 0.7 points this week and these lineups. Like, it feels awesome to have, like, all of my teams sucked, right? But you got the Derrick Henry. Swift had an awesome game. Javonte's going to have a good game. Puka starts scoring at 2 points, and Mooney starts scoring at 0.7. So Mooney should get what, like five? Let's say 5 points. Like I don't think he'll get 7. Let's say he gets 5 for 3 points, and Puka gets 20. I like that projection there. I think that makes a lot of sense. And if you get there, that would be a really nice payday. Being even basically means you had all the... Yeah, exactly. What's up, Losimo? Losimo had some sweats before the week. I haven't looked at their profile. I let people let me know what they're in if they care to look at it. But good luck. Hopefully things ran out well. I'm not positive, but I think you were in the same boat as me of having 0 Derrick Henry. Glad Purdy sat out all year. What a bum. Fourth quarter, damn, Henry killed my team from big score. Yeah, like Derrick Henry. I mean, if nothing else, Derrick Henry's going to win Pepper Tony some money. And remember, everybody not drafting olds. Like, maybe the best thing you could have done was take CMC Derrick Henry. Like, it kind of feels like that. Okay, you have 2 in the sprint. Yeah, I do think I can. That sprint team, I do feel like I could get maybe somewhere with the sprint team, since Puka starts at Puka and London both start at like basically no score, right? At 1.3 and 3.7 points. And Algier, and like it's very possible that Algier also outscores, like he gets 12 points pretty often, right? To outscore that. So I could get 4 points there, 20 points from Puka, 15 points from London for another, 42, 43 points. That would put me at 460. And I don't think that that's too crazy to think that that could happen. And the thing about it is, if London has the 35 point, like if London has like a 30 to 35 point game, very, very few people, number one, advance London teams to the postseason. And number two, I'm going to guess that London is Sprint in here. Yeah, Sprint is here. So let's look at London and see how many teams have Drake London in this contest. Apparently it's not going to let me do that. Okay, so the sprint I can't find the combos on, but I'm going to assume that there's not as many Drake London teams near the top, because it would require you to have Puka and Trevor Lawrence most likely, right? So it's going to be a thin amount of people that are up there that actually have Drake London, and you hit wide receivers that hit with it, right? So you kind of needed an exact combination to get there. Where does that put you on? I assume that that's for SBS. 25 to 30 from wide receiver 1. Where does that put you? Yeah, Rick says my wide receiver suck. I'm hoping I get a worse. You get a long Mooney touchdown. Man, this was a hard sentence for me to read, man. My wide receiver, like, you have extra letter and stuff and suck, and that word, the word worse there doesn't need to be in the sentence. So it's pretty funny. Man, yeah, like the Jags just pay. Like I honestly think that we may see Brian Thomas Jr. traded in the offseason. They traded for Jacoby Myers to get so Liam Cohen didn't bring in Brian Thomas, right? And if they just paid those two players, why would you not trade away something that's an asset to maybe move up and get something? I do think that that's something that we could see next year. Obviously, that's a knee-jerk reaction to this, but it also depends on how much and what they could get for him. Yeah, I mean, I do think like there was a rumor going around the trade deadline about like somebody looking at him or something. But Jacoby getting paid and them investing into Travis Hunter like they did, like something's got to happen there, right? Like Hunter either has to play more defense. Parker Washington has to not get used, who's the only wide receiver that has like really good connection with Trevor Lawrence. So, okay, Rick, that makes sense. Like, focus on driving. Don't worry about putting extra words in your sentence. I that makes a lot of sense. Now, I was trying to figure that out. I was like, well, what is going on with this sentence here? What are you doing? All right, now we will go to the results for the week. I made a little bit. I was in for $507 on the day, and I made 603 on the main slate, 20 and 25. So I ended up $121 or $141. Let's look at there were some ugly teams that won. So like this contest, 109 wins, 109 points win. This team ran out Jalen Hurts with 8.9 points and shipped a contest for $2,000. That's how ugly this week was. The fullback dive, I really needed Tyrone Tracy to do something. This was my only real chance at money. If Tyrone Tracy got to 15, 16 fantasy points, that would have put me up here to the like if he would have got 10 more fantasy points, right? Because he's at 6.2, and he's done that a couple times. Like he had 22 and 14, and Singletary ended up getting around that. So if those games were swapped, I would have been up here a little higher. Never really a chance at first, but that was my best lineup. Was a Tyler Shuck, Chase Brown, Tyrone Tracy, Chase, Olave, and Juwan Johnson. I was pretty in on Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, and then I was also in on Olave, Juwan Johnson, and Shuck. I just never could get the last right piece, or I didn't have that full combination. And I had zero Ramondre after like the second day. The Deposit Kingdom, Pepper Tony ended up in 11. I ended up in 8th. Pepper Tony's team, I'm sure he'll take it based on the results of the rest of the day. Trevor Lawrence, Chase Brown, Achane, Diggs, Wilson, and Goddard. And then my team, once again, the no Ramondre thing there. If that was Ramondre, this absolutely ships the contest easily. It would have been one of the higher scoring lineups you could have had. But I had two huge duds. I only did a couple 3 wide receiver builds, but I generally did it with Jamar Chase, Olave, Diggs, Mike Evans, T. Higgins, and with that group of people. So if I got 3 of those, and I did it once with Jalen Waddle, but if it wasn't one of the first round wide receivers, I wouldn't have done it with like Olave, Diggs, and Mike Evans, which might have been fine as well. And Wandale as a third would have also worked, but I full faded that game. on the Giants passing side, which was a mistake. I would, the process I got to get there, I fully believe in, and I would do it the same way again. So crazy Henderson was announced to play and Ramondre was the top scorer. Well, like the goal line touchdown stuff, like that's something that's just going to be part of the game. Like Ramondre is actually good at that. The 25-yard receiving touchdown from Ramondre, that's the part that hurt, because that's supposed to be why they wanted Henderson, right? But man, that linebacker was so lost on that play. I'm pretty sure that what's his name? Matlock, number 44, for those of you who don't know, but Matlock on the Chargers could have ran right past him, because that linebacker was completely lost. Like, even what was it? Number 61 for the Bucks, the offensive lineman they had out, he would have blitzed by that linebacker on that play. Like, it wasn't that, like, it's just that Ramondre was in on the play for the pass route. Felt a little bad to me. And I had Travion on 2 of my 6 finals teams as well. So, and I think on that sprint. So it hurt, like, in every possible way. But this lineup got me a little bit of my money back. It's a pretty solid lineup. I don't do a lot of 3 wide receiver, but I've actually won money on 3 wide receiver twice now. Like, I don't do it as often, but like, I think it was week 2. It's not loading up. I'll go all the way down, because it was like a Jahmyr Gibbs solo. Yeah. So it was a Jahmyr Gibbs solo double stack, and Gibbs was my lowest scorer by far. But Puka, Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Juwan Johnson was the scroll tight end there. But like, Jahmyr Gibbs was the piece that like cooked the team. I easily could have taken down, like, if it wasn't, I probably don't take Jared Goff if it's just Amon-Ra. And Goff was the main piece here. But if I would have ended up with like a James Cook there, or I guess CMC is up there, like Achane. I don't know what the draft order was that week, but I've actually had 2 reasonably successful lineups now with 3 wide receivers. So I will, next year I might dabble with it a little more. If I do more volume next year, and I do plan to, I think I will up my percentage of 3 wide receiver builds. That I think so few people do it, that when it is right, you win more money. So that will be part of my process next year, is like, instead of being like 5 to 10%, being like 15% on a normal week, and weeks that I like 3 wide receiver go to 20. This team also sunk by Tyrone Tracy and also Jacoby Myers, but it still somehow made money with a 4-point and 6-point in there. But that's kind of all I got today. I was just going to pop on, look at some lineups, talk with people for a minute. I guess we could, if people want, try to make a pick'em. We do have a 50% boost going on. I'm not good at pick'em, so I'm not going to recommend that you follow me, but this is the line I like the most. I like Blake Corum over rushing yards today. I get a feeling that with the Rams not getting the 1 seed, or having a chance at the 1 seed, that they may not, like, I guess I can still go for the 4 seed, right? Like, and that does matter, because getting to play the Panthers makes a lot of sense, or the Bucks. But I do think that they're going to kind of be ahead this whole game and that they'll be running the ball a lot. Now, I don't want that to happen. I want it to be a shootout Puka Nacua Drake London game for my sprint. It would just be nice to have a top 100 team in the sprint. Like I would feel good. Feel like the entire season wasn't wasted. Like it wouldn't be profitable, but it would feel better to have that. And I said all offseason, I did 36 sprints. I said the whole offseason that I prefer the sprint contest to BBM. So it would be nice to get a good finish there. I don't know what I like on the Falcon side though. I'm worried that they might not use Bijan as much. I'm also worried that the Rams defense is going to be out there just absolutely destroying things. So I don't know what's an angle people like for tonight. Like I can't get anywhere on the Falcon side. Maybe Kirk Cousins interception. Where's Kirk Cousins interceptions at? Because he's throwing one, he didn't throw one, he threw two, he didn't throw one, threw one. And against a great defense, which the Rams are as well, with a good front, he had 4.4 points and threw 2 picks. So I think whenever I find it, interception thrown, you get a negative multiplier on that, but I do like it. And then Puka is negative also on the touchdowns, huh? 108 receiving yards? That's insane. 108 receiving yards. Where's Mumford at? And why aren't there any a Mumfield? Do 2 TDs on somebody. I don't want to jinx anybody. Pitts over 4.5 targets is that's probably a really good one. I'm not scaling it down though. I'm not going to scale it all the way down. Are you talking about Pete's stream earlier? I like that. I mean, if I'm going to scale something, we could just scale Drake London way up. Where's his fantasy points at? What do we got here? Oh no, do we just do first? Where's Kyron Williams' first touchdown? 3.32 on a first touchdown. What is... We'll just do Puka first touchdown, Blake Corum. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do a first touchdown bet here. And then we're also going to scale Bijan. Bijan longest reception is pretty high. I think I want Drake London here. Over 11 fantasy points. A $10 bet pays $190. Or I could just use bonus funds. Yeah, we're gonna have fun with this. We're gonna do. No, we're not gonna do first touchdown there. I don't know. I mean, 8.5 receptions. We'll just do the 8.5 receptions. Uh, we'll do the 50% boost. Drake London 11.55 fantasy points. Blake Corum 45 rushing yards. Puka 8.5 receptions, and ship it. That's our pick'em. I will put it in the. I'll put it here. I'll link it to the Discord. For those of you who aren't, you can pop in the Discord. It's free. I will put the information in there just a second. Like I said before, I wasn't ready today. I didn't set everything up, and I'm probably going to be done pretty early today as well. But while we're here, if anybody wants anything else looked at, let me know. If not, I'm probably going to just head off, and tomorrow we will be doing... Actually, who wants to come over to Drafters? I'm going to join a playoff mini best ball. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to do one or two of these over here on Drafters. I prefer the playoff best ball on Drafters opposed to Underdog. So if you would like to do a playoff best ball on Drafters, the difference is it's total points. And in the total points contest, obviously the Ladd McConkeys from like last year matter a lot more. Tomorrow, I'm planning on doing more of these on stream. And whenever, but I'm also going to go over last year's results on Drafters. I will bring up the results from last year, and we'll decipher some of the teams and see what worked, see what didn't, stuff like that. This contest looks like it's definitely going to fill. The main playoff best ball over here on Drafters, it still needs like 2,000 entrants of 16,000. It is very far away from filling, and it's only 10 days away. I do think that that's probably going to overlay. And I don't love playoff best ball, but I might end up being in there doing quite a bit of those. I don't have a good lean this year on what I think is going to happen for the playoff best ball, but I'm kind of out on the Bills, and I've been out on the Packers the entire season as a team that could possibly win 4 straight games to get to a Super Bowl. So I do think that the Broncos are likely to get there. And I think that the Jaguars are playing the best football in the AFC. And in the NFC side, like obviously the Rams feel really good. But I've been pretty in on the Niners. I know they can't stop anybody from scoring, but nobody can stop them from scoring either. Well, it looks like nobody is able to join or wants to join. Hey, what's up, Emo? How we doing? Josh Jacobs failed us both. Like, so that's something else. Not only did I not have Derrick Henry, but like that put the game script of Josh Jacobs just doing nothing more and more. The most annoying thing about watching that game for me was the announcers the entire time just kept saying that the Packers can't run the ball. That was incorrect. The Packers never tried to run the ball. Like, there's a huge difference. They never once attempted to really run the ball. Josh Jacobs had 2 carries in the first half. He had 4 carries for the entire game? it's not like they were down 3 scores the whole game. Like, listening to the announcer talk the entire time about how they couldn't run the ball. They never tried. The other running backs didn't get a chance. And then at halftime, they just stopped trying. Like, they just stopped putting Jacobs out there as well. Maybe he got banged back up. I do assume that's what happened, but yeah. And at the same time, a player that I had none of was just absolutely smashing. And honestly, if Josh Jacobs would have even got to like 13 fantasy points, if he would have got that, he did get a goal line carry. If that would have been a touchdown, and he would have got to like 8 points with like 9 yards or whatever, it wouldn't have helped, but it would have felt better. But watching Henry go for 4 touchdowns and 200 yards in a game where the team that I need the running back in 4 of my 6 contests, like, not even attempt. Like, he had as many rush attempts, and let me make sure that this is correct, but I think that he had the same amount of rush attempts as Derrick Henry had touchdowns. Baltimore Ravens versus Packers. Let's look up the stats. Derrick Henry, 4 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, 4 carries. Like, he did get a long of 1, though. Like, at least in those 4 carries, he got a long of 1. So there, we do have that. So, by the way, I am in Playoff Drafters Best Ball Mini right now, trying to fill it. Been waiting for a little bit, pretty much venting a little bit. Oh, looks like Drafters has a Monday Night Football challenge. Guess the player who will have the longest touchdown tonight and the amount of total yards of the TD in tonight's game. Players get the player correct, you get a $5 free pick'em. To get both correct, you win $100 in bonus funds. And yes, Fred Warner could absolutely change that. I love the way they started throwing to the running backs to the Green Bay for the last minute. Yes, it really, really was. And like everything leading up to that game, like everyone felt fully alive still. It's all good. Eagles beat the Bills. Are we impressed? I mean, number one, both teams were completely. The Eagles defense was absolutely on one to start the game. And the Bills, it felt pretty lucky that they got back into the game, honestly. They kind of did what they do, though. Like, at the end of games, they have a way, just, the thing that the Broncos do every single week that make people say that they're not a good team is exactly what the Bills have been doing this season. So they have went out there and absolutely floored a couple teams, but it's mostly them screwing around in the first half and then coming back at the second half and barely winning games. Someone just took Dak 1 overall in a kitten. The damn kittens. All right, so we got the 103. Uh-oh. Sighting of Bigfoot, everybody. Bigfoot's in the 105. Anyway, if you are new to Drafters or don't have an account, you can use promo code WHO, capital H, 2 little O's, for a 100% deposit match for up to $100. All right, so the poll question, 25% of you answered correctly. And it's, how do you put on pants? Right leg, left leg first, simultaneous, or who wears pants? And 25% of you said who wears pants, which is the correct answer. I know it's supposed to be a poll, but that was more of a pop quiz. Say you. Doc's over here yelling at kittens. Like, just thought you were better than that. Come on, Doc. All right, what do I want here? I mean, I don't love the Bills. I also don't want 0 Bills. We're gonna move down to Kyron, actually. In school, did you wear shorts in the winter? No, I didn't wear shorts in the winter to be tough. I wore shorts in the winter like I do currently, because I didn't get cold. Like, my legs never get cold. My upper body gets cold, but my legs just don't get cold. Probably a medical condition of some kind. But that is damn kittens. But yeah, tomorrow I will be looking over like last year's playoff best ball stuff on drafters specifically, and kind of talking about it, because like, you do need the team to get to the finals, right? Because you need to put up the same amount of points every week, and it also has tight ends just like it does on DK here. So it is 12 rounds. But the huge spike weeks, like, you don't need to advance through, but those huge spike weeks do matter a lot in total points. So trying to fit in 1 or 2 like advance rate pieces like they do on Underdog to get the full game and the multiple outs and stuff, like that still makes sense. But adding in the random Lad McConkey or Nico Collins matters. The team I had last year, I've talked about before. I was in second at halftime, and my Chiefs decided they wanted to score a whole bunch of points at the end of the game, and I watched that $5,000 go down to like $275, and watch my Chiefs still lose in the Super Bowl. It was a fantastic experience. Absolutely awesome. Very fun. Super fun. My favorite. My absolute favorite. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. I got some treats for you. We'll let Lordy have Blake Corum over there. Yeah, like, at least I got to see the Worthy Mahomes magical connection that, yeah. Well, not only did it cost me the $5,000, but it also cost me money this year for drafting more of it, because I probably wouldn't have been on it had that not happened, right? So yeah, all it did is literally cost me money. That is it. That's all it done. It's cost me money. And then it cost me more money down the line. It's like, look what could happen. Look at that. Did you see that? Do you see that one throw in the Super Bowl? Like, there was a path there as well, right? Like, he did do a lot better the second half of the season. The progression made sense. And then he exploded through the playoffs. And then he had the one deep throw, probably the last good throw Patrick Mahomes will ever have as a deep ball. So I'm very curious to next year where Xavier Worthy goes, because I do think that the discount is going to be. I think we're going to get like Rashad Bateman 2 years ago kind of thing. I could see Worthy going like round 13, 14. And at that point, I think you have to take some shares. Because everybody was, the few people who were in on him got super, super burnt. All right, so we have Kyron, Adams, Sutton, Nix. Might as well take Troy Franklin here as well. Do need to pick up another running back. I'm in on the Bears. Like, I know nobody's in on the Bears, but I'm actually kind of in on the Bears. They will probably be my most exposed team in the playoff best ball. Last year, on my most exposed team was actually the Commanders, was Washington, because they were the team that wasn't going, that I thought was being undervalued, that had a chance to win a game or two and give you extra points. And Commanders were absolute, like, they ended up winning 2 games, not just 1. And like, if they would have made the Super Bowl, I probably would have shipped, like, I probably would have had a couple top 10 finishes, because most of my teams were actually, nobody had any respect on them in the playoffs. And that's exactly how the Bears are being treated right now. And I think, if nothing else, last night should let people know that, like, hey, this is actually a team you probably want to have some pieces of. So we don't need, I guess we kind of do need a tight end. I don't like Evan Ingram at all, but I think I need him specifically for this team. Kenneth Walker's fallen really far here, so we're going to go ahead and take K. Walker. I have no idea why he fell that far, but at 40, I'm in. What's up, Corey? He's in the house. Last year was brutal. Bills lost. I had Allen, Cook, ton of Eagles, but they couldn't beat the Chiefs. Yeah, Allen Cook was really hard to get. Were you playing on underdog, I assume? Or were you playing over here on Drafters? Okay, I was about to take Derrick Henry. I'm just going to reach down here and take Luther Burden. I don't care. That's what we're doing. We're taking Luther. And oh, we needed Evan Ingram. That's what we needed. That's my bad. I messed that up. So definitely need Pat Bryant here. So we have 4 more rounds. I need 2 tight ends probably. Evan Ingram being one of them. Loveland if we can. Maybe Pat Bryant. And then yeah, that'll give me a full, if I take Evan Ingram, I've got a full Broncos game, a full Broncos stack with a solo Kenneth Walker if they get there. Kyron Willie, like a full Super Bowl with multiple different teams. I definitely want Caleb Williams next. Actually, I think Pat Bryant could be the piece I need the most. I'm going to assume that he's pretty far down the list, though. Yeah, he is. Oh, so Caleb goes. So maybe we just stick with the one. Chiefs were always the most well-rounded AFC team, but in a fantasy-friendly way last season, yeah. I mean, in my eyes, last year for Kansas City, it was you just needed the off pieces. I didn't think Mahomes was the way to really draft it. I thought that you wanted to do like Worthy, Kelsey, and Pacheco, or Hunt, or like one of the running backs. I think you just wanted one, not two of the running backs. And I think you wanted Worthy and Kelsey plus one other piece, whether it be a running back, a wide receiver, just because like the way that they played, like they score so few points, and you didn't get them for a round. So like the only reason to take them was to get the points in the final week. So if you built out a giant team on the other side and you just had an ancillary piece or two, like, yeah, if Mahomes goes off, you probably lose. But if Mahomes goes off, like, he hadn't done it really all season. And it wasn't like their offensive line was going to have a good matchup in a Super Bowl from any of those NFC teams, unless it happened to be the Commanders, right? So that's kind of where I was at the whole time. Silly Caleb Williams drafter. Took naked Caleb Williams there for no reason. Absolutely no reason. Zero. None. No reason. I think we just take another wide receiver here. We kind of got burnt on the quarterback thing there, so just build out another piece. We got Burden, Loveland. We have Adams and Kyron. We have Swift. We have Walker. We could take Rome here. Dowdle, Gainwell, Chicago. I mean, could just take Guy as well. I think that's what we do. We just take Guy. So the team, solo quarterback, Bo Nix, Kyron Williams. So it kind of makes it like, I don't love the solo quarterback, but I have none of the Denver running backs. So it kind of makes sense logically. Bo Nix, and then Kyron, Swift, plus Guy, and Kenneth Walker, all NFC running backs. Wide receiver, Adams, and then Cortland Sutton, Franklin, and Pat Bryant, all for the Nick stack. Luther Burden. So we have two random pieces there. And then tight end, Evan Ingram and Colston Loveland. So we have a full game stack in 3 different matchups if Denver gets there. And most likely one of like the Kenneth Walker one was just a pure value thing. I got him at 40 and his value is 26. If they're the 1 seed, oh, this team's dead. Actually, it's completely dead. I haven't thought about playoff best ball at all. That was really stupid. I don't have a quarterback week 1. Not at all. Like, do not do this. I should have. Yeah, I should have just taken Justin Herbert there at the end. I absolutely that should have been Justin Herbert. Just for fantasy points for week 1. This feels bad. And on that note, yeah, right, yeah, you really did. And like the fact that they ended up winning an extra game than people thought, and I think that's the way that the Bears could be this year. Like the Niners and the Bears, I don't see other teams really. I know the Packers twice have kind of let the stop the Bears offensively. I don't understand it though. Like it doesn't make sense why the Packers defense, which is in my opinion very overrated, is like I thought that before Parsons, and I think so even more now. They randomly like stop the Bears, but then they let Derrick Henry run for 204 touchdowns. I don't understand why the Packers like were good against them. And I don't see any other defenses really stopping the Bears. The guy has San Francisco, Seattle. Yeah, it really is. And honestly, that completely killed like it threw me so off guard. I forgot to take another quarterback. That's just a dead team. But this is my second or third team I've done this whole year. So on playoff best ball, I'm not really in the rhythm. Tomorrow I'll buckle down and get into it. Hey, what's up, Meat Gazer? Thank you for watching. I enjoyed chatting with you. You chatted a lot more in the preseason, but I'm sure you listened here and there. I appreciate it, and good luck to you if you have anything left as well. I'm rooting for Drake. Like all I am rooting for is to tear up a little bit and some things to get to like I could get 2 teams to like one to $500 and one to like $1,000 for a little bit of cost mitigation is all I got at this point. And this playoff team is dead on arrival. But I want to thank everybody for coming out today. Tomorrow, I will, like I said, we'll look at the drafters winners from last year on the playoff best ball. We will do like I'm going to do almost all of my playoff best ball stuff on drafters number 1 because I prefer the total. Like I don't prefer total points in season long, but I do prefer it in the playoff stuff. The pod randomness is something I'm okay with in like the season long stuff, but in playoff best ball, it feels like it's like that's more of the game than the rest of the game. Maybe that's just my perception on it, but that's how it feels to me. And with it only being 3 slates, it feels like the total points is like it's so much less likely for you to get into an injury situation that completely kills your team over a 4-game slate opposed to a 17-week season, right? So I do prefer the total points in that aspect of the playoff best ball versus the regular during normal advanced rate structure best ball for the playoff stuff. I will probably do like I'll still be doing dailies and stuff, but I'm not going to do dailies this week, probably until Friday. I'm assuming we're going to get a whole bunch of players sit, players on IR, all kinds of stuff like that. All kinds of front offices trying to get draft picks, stuff like that. So we've already seen a little bit of it. But thanks, everybody. Good luck tonight. Peace.